Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good afternoon and welcome to Urban Lifestyle Cafe. I'm Michael, your bougie black brother, and I'm here with my co-host Alicia.
Hello.
And this afternoon is our special end of year movie review. Normally, previous year, we waited till the Oscars and let you know what we was going to and what we was going to go at. This year, we had a full year to complete. So as we completed the full year, we wanted to go over the movies that we saw. So keep that in mind, right, baby?
Yep.
It's the movies we saw.
For 2017.
For 2017. We're not getting into any 2016 that bled over. None of that. So we go with our top movies, our most disappointing movies, and a couple of honorable mentions, because if you're going with your top five, with your top movies, that probably take a little off and take a little time to explain that. The difference this time is Alicia has hers and I have mine. So as you know, throughout the year, we kind of come to whatever we thought was good, and we have different rankings, and we kind of discussed and explained to each other, well, maybe you should change your mind. Well, we're not changing our mind. This is the stuff that we made a decision what was our top, disappointing, and honorable. So with that said, sweetie, which one you want to start with first?
Oh, you want me to start with? I didn't put them in any order.
So you ain't got from 1 to 5?
No, I have, my top one you're saying.
So do you want to start with your top movies or your most disappointing movies?
I thought we were going to do just the top movies and then do something else for the worst movies.
So top movies of 2017, go with your number 5.
Okay.
And then I'll do my 5, and then we go from there.
Okay, so not in no particular order.
Nope, it's got to be top 5.
Well, I got my top 6, but there's one is a tie. I couldn't get it.
You can keep a tie.
But you wanted.
I didn't give you no rules.
All right, my number one.
I didn't say number 1. You go from your bottom to your top.
Well, I mean, I didn't put them in any like you said, the top one would be your favorite one. I didn't put them in any order. I just put all the ones that I like for 2017.
Okay.
You cool with that?
Well, I'm gonna have to.
But I'll put it in order. So my bottom pick would be Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the bottom. That's number 5.
So why that?
Because it was so exciting, and it was just so colorful. It was so much fun.
Gotcha.
So that one I love because that was a fun movie that I enjoyed.
Okay.
And then
Nope. Now, my number 5. Is Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So that Blade Runner,
that was
really was amazing. The Villeneuve is the director, and every year he comes out with an amazing movie, from Sicario to Arrival to now Blade Runner. So I'm always waiting for something he comes out with, because this was amazing. It didn't do well in the box office.
Right.
But
it was
the intensity of that movie as a sci-fi movie.
Yes, it was.
And
good.
a remake. It was an amazing movie.
Yeah, they did a good job on that being a remake, because they totally did it differently.
No, they extended it, but it was different. So you got that it was an extension from another movie, but it was a different movie. So that was my number 5. What's your 4?
Number 4 is Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I really enjoy Wonder Woman. It just empowered me. Just like, okay, I want to be that superhero like her. I want to kick ass. And
So that was a good movie for a lot of women. And it was a good movie because you just haven't had a woman hero like that. You had a woman hero that stood up for women, and because women are being depressed. It wasn't about that. It was she didn't even care if women were being depressed, and she was like, I'm just
a
powerful.
woman. Yeah, I'm just a woman that got power.
I'm a powerful woman and respect that. And I thought that was clearly done by the director. So very good movie. My number 4, and I kind of debated a little bit. This was Dunkirk. So
Yeah.
once again, another one of my favorite directors.
See, you're not a war person, so that's a surprise to me.
Very good, baby, because I'm not a big advocate on war. I was in the military. But the way he did this movie was amazing because there wasn't a lot of dialogue. It was what you saw and what you heard, and the cinematography of how vast everything was so amazing. I really loved it. And, it was out of the ordinary because it was in France, right?
Yes, it was.
Dunkirk. And even the storyline was, these people was on the beach trying to get off, and the Germans just kept bombing the shit out of them. But they couldn't get off the island. And you felt the intensity of, anything can happen at any given time. And all of these soldiers and Marines and naval men tried to get off of there. And it was such an intense movie. And he did it so well as a movie. Not really standout acting or whatever. It was good acting. But the way the movie felt, I loved it.
I know, because it was totally action packed. You didn't know what was coming next.
Exactly.
And it was like bam, bam, and you was like, okay, what the hell else is coming? How do they get out? And the way he did it.
And then when they was on the boat, then it was kind of like,
remember,
they getting away.
Water, land, and air.
Yeah, very good. I forgot about that too.
I was totally profound how he did it. Water,
and the timeline was different.
Yes.
But it was the same because something that happened on the water may not have been happening on the land, but what was happening on the land may not have been happening in the air. But then in the end, as portions ended, you saw where everything
it kind of
came together.
It came together. Yep, it surely came together.
So that was my number 4. Amazing movie.
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a tie.
Okay.
Get Out.
Ooh.
And Big Sick.
Okay. So why couldn't you not break those two up?
Because I love Big Sick. It was so good because the relationship, how he was a comedian and how his family, how it wasn't his beliefs, and how he, his family didn't want him to be with a woman that was not part of his culture. And that really, stuck into my head. I can't get that out of my head.
Which was good though.
Yeah.
That was
and then,
unique.
Yes, it was. And then Get Out. I am not a person who's into scary movies. But this stuck in my head and it wouldn't come out. Every scene, I mean, it was just, this was one of those movies that I still cannot get out of my head. Yeah. I can I'm not a scary, like I said, I'm not a scary person. I will watch this over and over again.
Yeah.
I will watch it because it was so many different stories within it. Perspectives, so many different.
The movie was layered. It was layered in so many ways that you had prejudice on a different level. Then you had, liberalism to say how liberal whites see things. Then you had black people and interracial, and then you had the fact of him and his relationship with his mother that he still had too. All of that was all in this.
I know it was just so. I mean, but it was so much stuff that if you watch it again, you're gonna get something totally different out of it.
Yeah, or you'll pick up more.
Right, exactly. And then you watch it again, then you're gonna get something because there was so much different things that was going on in there that gave you so much of a different perspective that you have to rethink. It's one of those movies that you can sit down and have a serious discussion about.
Exactly, and not that it would be true because you never know, but it's so realistic in the way things and how people act. Not the fact that if you haven't seen it, too bad. Not the fact that people can move their consciousness into someone else's body. You know what I mean? But it's what the intent was. I want to be like this person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not racially reversed to say, I hate blacks and I don't want to be around blacks.
Right.
This was, I love blacks and I want to be black.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but in my mind,
Yeah.
not their mind.
Exactly.
So, okay. So that was your number 3. Mm-hmm. My number 3 was The Shape of Water.
Okay.
So I really love Guillermo del Toro, the way he creates characters and things, and the way he shows you those is just so amazing. It is magical in a way. When he makes a movie, it's magical, because I couldn't think about that the last time we was reviewing it. But it was a magical feel to it, and the way the actors played to what was going on, it was really a very good movie. So why was it better than Blade Runner and Dunkirk? Because it was a little more emotional, and visually it took you away from the normalcy of things, because Dunkirk was a true story, so that was normal. You can believe that.
Right.
Blade Runner was futuristic sci-fi, but kind of, could you believe some of that? Emotionally attached, based on the acting and everything, fine. But this one, I really love the fact that it was a deaf woman who no one knew. You know, they pretty much ignored her. You know, because her existence was, she's a mute, and all she does is just clean. And it was back in the 60s, and she was a woman. And, you know, so it didn't really matter. But he made you understand and feel how people were. And so I enjoyed that movie.
So my number 2
Yep.
is The Shape of Water.
Oh, okay.
And because of it was so imaginary, so it has the fantasy, it has he was just so creative, and I love him because he create this fantasy of, you know, that you want to be in. You know, for me, it's like I love Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I love that imaginary idea of that we can float in the air and fly balloons. And I love that. And he is the adult version of doing the adult version for Harry Potter. I mean, he is more give you that
What is
fantasy.
this, J.K. Rawlings?
Yes. He gives you that fantasy that you want to oh my God, I want to be a part of it. I want to be that person, you know, to be and to enjoy. He makes you enjoy the movie,
Right.
you know. And for me, it's like I love fantasy, and I love the fact that you know, you could dream about anything. You know what I'm saying?
And it'll come out to the way you want it to be.
And that's him. He dreams I can imagine him, you know, the dreams he have, you know, and he come out with all this a beautiful creation of a movie. And so that's why I fell in love with that movie.
And that was your number 2.
That's my number 2.
So I'm going to ask you this before I give you my number 2. Did you debate your number 2 with your number 1, or you knew that was going to be your number 2?
No, that's my number 2.
So my number 2 is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
What?
So my number, and the reason I had a conflict with that is I love the acting in it. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. My favorite movies of the year.
Why wasn't it your number 1?
I have a reason for that.
Okay.
The acting on it was amazing. The storytelling within the story was just amazing. And I didn't expect this to be that good. And it was just an amazing movie. And you know, the emotion and how people changed and how people related to each other. You felt the small town relationship. You knew that they may have been mad at each other, but they knew each other. They may not like each other, but they dealt with each other.
Okay.
And it was just that close knit. And I just thought that movie was pretty amazing. But I debated between my 1 and 2.
Okay.
And your number 1 is?
3 Billboards.
So why the 3 Billboards?
Because it was real.
Yeah.
It was real, and the fact that, you know, she was dealing with an issue that really bothered her, and she you know, she got seeing those billboards and came up with the idea to put it out there, put that information. And her dealing with it and how the town deal with it and how everybody, it wasn't all about her, but it was about her. You know,
Right.
dealing with an issue that she had to deal with herself because she felt bad at what she did and didn't resolve it. And that to me was very powerful because a lot of people go through that. And to me,
With no resolution.
with no resolution, and that to me, that made me emotional. That emotionally, I was very emotional about that movie. And I
okay.
could definitely relate to it. And right now I'm getting that teary eye because when I think about it, I could think about just so many situations and so many people going through it as well as me going through it. And that's why I made it number one.
Well, okay. I mean, again, I debated between my 1 and 2 because that was my 1 for a while, but I really had to think through it. And my number 1 is Get Out. And the reason why my number 1 is Get Out was that was real to me. Because as a black man and having to deal with what goes on into society and how we can be thrown away without a problem.
Okay.
I thought about when the first guy was captured and they haven't seen anything from him, but he was dating some white girl. They didn't know. Who cares? It's just a black man.
Right.
Then when you dealing with white people, and I deal with white people all the time, and I have friends, and I call them friends. But if you put yourself in a position and they can do something so dramatic in this way, and you got to deal with that.
Right.
You know, he loved this girl. It didn't matter what color she was. He loved her. But she didn't love him. She used him. And we're naive to that point, even with all our insecurities and things from that. And then I looked at all of them. 3 Billboards, I love to see that when it comes on. Get Out, I'll see whenever. That's another one of the shows that the movies that I will see any given time.
Yeah, that's why I said it's one of those movies where we can watch and then get a totally different perspective each and every time we
You can
watch
have
it.
a conversation.
A
because
really conversation with it.
he
You're right.
wrote something that was satirically funny, but real and emotional.
That's correct.
And you can tear it down, and there's so much you can get out of it. So
Right.
that Get Out lingers for me longer
Right.
than all of the rest of them. But if I didn't have any order, I would have been fine with every single one of them.
Right.
But if I had to put them in an order, I think that would be my top.
So you think we can go ahead and go finish up all the movies? You know, the worst and the mentionables?
That's what we're gonna do. What do
Yeah,
you mean?
okay. I just wanted to.
So, most disappointing. How many did you have for your most disappointing?
Okay. My 5 most disappointing
So you had
movies.
5? I had a little
Yeah.
more than 5.
Yeah, well, I didn't think about. I just put the worst 5, and that was the worst.
Well, see, I put.
There was a lot of them.
So I did it because there was reasons for sometimes they were worse or disappointing.
Well, there was some there was like 1 or 2 I watched, and it was like I didn't watch with you because you said it was bad anyway, but I watched it anyway because I just wanted to watch something,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, they were fucking bad. And it was like it wasn't even worth putting it even on the list, but I put the worst ones
Okay.
on the list.
So
You start
my most disappointing movie
From the bottom up?
From the bottom,
right.
Lady Bird.
Ooh.
And the reason why I put Lady Bird is because the
Wow.
expectation was that was the highest. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm looking forward to see it. Disappointing. Worse? No. Disappointing? Yes. Very disappointing.
Okay.
So it had to drop to that list.
Right.
Because the expectation was so high. You know what I mean?
Right.
So with the expectation being that high, fuck that. My disappointed. I'm fucking disappointed. I'm disappointed I had to sit there and
Oh my
expect something to
God.
be amazing, and it wasn't.
Okay.
There you go.
So number 5 for me, Dark Tower.
I didn't even watch that.
I know, because I did. I was like, let me see what this is about. And I'm like, oh, this was the worst. Because, Idris Elba,
Yeah.
I love him. And he's been doing just about everything
So
right
he's
now.
just doing like he's almost like Denzel Washington now.
Yeah.
He has a certain amount of movies he's got to
Yeah,
do.
he got to do. But, I mean, Of course, he was good. I mean, I love him and I loved seeing him, but the movie overall was the worst.
So I like him, but I'm not gonna watch him in a bad movie.
Yeah, there's a couple of movies he got out that
That I'm just not gonna see, and I know it's bad.
Yeah, because the one about him on the plane and then they
and they drop off in the snow and no one knows what they are.
Oh, like I'm not watching that shit.
That bullshit.
Nah, that's crazy. Okay. So that was my number 5.
So the next one is for me the Mummy. So I wanted to see that though. So here's I wanted to see it.
You not
because
see it?
No, I wanted to see that movie because I
thought
it was going to be good.
Right, that's right.
The people was going like, "Oh, it's terrible." I was like, "Man, it's just Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is my boy. People hate him. I love him. He's entertaining to me. He's not a good actor, but he's entertaining to me. So I wanted to see it, and it was as what everybody thought. So I had the Mummy next.
The Fate of the Furious.
So why was that your next
you
one?
You know how much I love cars. You know how much I love cars. You know how much I like the fast cars. You know how much I like the speed in cars.
Mm-hmm.
And this was so disappointing.
Yeah.
I was so hurt. And don't get me wrong, my husband will go and take me to see every Fast and Furious because he knows I love cars, and this one was the most disappointing one of them all. So, because it was just so bad, I can't even explain why it was bad. It was just bad.
Yeah. So my next one, Fate of the Furious. This was such a bad fucking movie. And if you can go back to our review and listen to our review, it was so bad. It was so bad that it didn't even focus on the cars. That's how bad it was. And then the acting was so fucked up in there. Well, should it have been better? Not necessarily, but you suppose at least said, let's highlight the cars. They just showed cars. They didn't do anything with the cars.
I know.
They just showed cars. And I was like, how bad is this fucking movie that in a list of movies about the Fast and the Furious that this was just so badly done?
Okay, so
next.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah. So why was that bad for you though?
It was just, oh my goodness, it was just some stupid shit they were doing in there, man. It was the most beautiful view. Mm-hmm. And then they were telling people they were getting out the plane underneath the tunnel. I'm like, what the hell you saying? I mean, off the train. I was like, what the hell y'all doing that for? It's fucking cold out there. Yeah. Then he want to talk outside. I was like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Like, what the hell?
Right,
and then and this is how bad it was. I was falling asleep.
Yeah, you were.
And Michael had to knock me to say, stop snoring.
That's how bad it was. It was bad.
Was bad.
It was
that was bad. That was bad. So
you almost at your one. I still got 3 left.
No, I got 2 left.
My next was Justice League. Because I wanted it to be better. You know what I mean? I didn't expect it to be better, but I was hoping it would be better. I was hoping to say, now finally they got one that I can go, yeah. DC finally has a good one to compete with the Marvel movie set and everything. It was very disappointing.
So again, that was your number 2?
No. That's my number. That's not my number 4. I got 7.
Oh yeah. Oh you. That's number. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So. And it was so disappointing because Batman was a punk. You always see his eyes like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? It's not Batman. You got the kid that played Flash. He was funny, but he had really no personality other than quirky, funny. But he wasn't confident with his skills, so that was fucked up. Aquaman or whoever he was good. You didn't really know other than he was strong. And he jumps out of the water.
Honestly, truthfully, they really didn't build that character up like
they
didn't.
They didn't do anything with it.
I mean, because that was a new character, and they should have did a little bit more
with the new characters. So Gal Gadot, she always shows up good. She showed up well in Wonder Woman, and she showed up well here. But it wasn't good enough, and it was so disappointing. So worse? No. Disappointing? You're goddamn right. Very disappointing.
Well, mine was Justice League as well.
Oh,
Next one, yeah, it was me and you in the same one. That one,
yeah, because that bothered
yeah,
me.
that really was. That was very disappointing. I loved. I mean, the Aquaman, he was new.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know a little bit more about him. Besides that, he was just a big old strong man
That jumps
who
out of the water.
Jumps in the water with some cool ass outfit on.
With some,
he knew how to dress.
Awesome tattoos and
Yeah,
shit like that.
Exactly.
So
that was a big disappointment to me as well.
Yeah. So
especially I fell asleep in that one as well.
So, so the next one, which is kind of different because I also wanted this one to be better, and it was Marshall. The movie about Thurgood Marshall and his first case when he was working with the NAACP. It was a decent movie.
And I can understand that because when we were younger, I had a big crush on Thurgood Marshall.
I looked up to this guy and said, "This
guy's
guy's amazing."
Big crush on him, and that was because of his, what he had done.
Yeah,
and knowing the history of him, which a lot of people didn't know the history of Thurgood Marshall.
Right.
And
but I thought they should have went into better the things that he did, not just the one case.
Right, and that's how I felt too.
That was so disappointing.
That's how I felt too.
Yeah.
I felt that he had done some besides that one particular case, he had done so many more powerful cases in his career that should have been the ones that they should have did movies on.
Or they could have started with this one and then said from this it jumped them to this huge case.
Right.
And then you can be like, that's what I know him for.
Right.
We didn't know him for this because I didn't go in that much detail.
No, because it wasn't that important in his career.
Well, it was the big stepping point in his career to get bigger cases.
I understand that, but there was we know this for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but that wasn't the one that made him who he was, and I think that's the kind of movie they should have done. They should have did
not the first one,
right? They should have did the case that made him who he was.
Yeah.
That's what would have been important in his career,
and that's why I said it was disappointing.
Yeah,
but I had to put it on the list because I wanted this movie to get the respect that it deserved.
Right.
But I think they just chose the wrong story.
Right.
And it could have been better.
Yeah, you're right. So what's your next one?
The next one is Murder on the Orient Express. And the reason why it was Murder on the Orient Express because I love the first one so much. The acting. The acting was just so fucking entertaining. Some people were over the top, but it was so good.
But so you talking about that one was done in 1976? I
think 72 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was about something further back. And they had the black and white version, and they had the colored.
And you got to understand, the acting back then was amazing.
Yeah,
because
but at times they would overact. But even when they overact, it was so entertaining.
Yeah, it was.
So if someone overacts right now, you're kind of like, God damn, man, calm down, bro. You're fucking overacting.
Yeah, different generation, different. Time.
But back then it was just so you was so entertained by it, and it was really pompous. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everybody thought they was the shit in there, and he tried to show that he was the greatest detective, but he tried to make them think that he was that good. Where the other guy was, he was modest, but he was brilliant, and they just did a bad job with this. I was expecting more from this, and I was so fucking disappointed. So, what's your number one?
Star Wars.
So we might as well say it. Star Wars. Most disappointing. So why was it disappointing to you?
Man, oh my goodness. I mean, it was just all over the place. It wasn't what I expected. Thought it would be something that you can relate to, go back to.
So how did you like the other two?
Rogue?
Yeah, Rogue One.
Hell yeah, I love Rogue.
What about the one before that? The one that precedes this one. Remember with the girl, she came off the island and she met the black guy who was used to.
That was good. No, that was good.
Yeah.
Rogue. I mean, with Rogue, all the women last year was like, we need to go Rogue. We need to go Rogue. It's like, Alicia, we can't do Rogue. Or like, well, we can use the word Rogue.
Right.
But because that one was amazing, she went out there just like, we gonna fight this, we gonna do this, and then die.
Yeah, and they died.
I know, it was like, then they
So
died.
a lot of the Star Wars fan didn't like that one as much, which I was fine with, because, and the reason why I was fine with is because it didn't fit into what they wanted. So I got that.
Well, now they did this one.
But this one was more disappointing because it's supposed to had preceded the first one that came out and related to that and kept going.
Yeah, because it looked like the black guy was like, are we getting a love connection here, but some kind of way? Because it kind of was like.
But he was in love with what's her name?
Yeah, but the way he did it in this one was like he was like floating in the air, like the cartoon with the little hearts. She's like.
But then in the end, the Asian girl, she loves me, so I need to show some affection to her. And I was kind of like, that quick, bruh? But yet you was desperate to, I gotta go find her. And it was just too many stupid shits.
Yeah, it was.
The worst, one of the worst things was them chasing them through the whole goddamn, for almost 2 hours. They were chasing them for almost 2 hours. We're gonna run out of gas. So they keep coming back. We're gonna run out of gas.
Oh, the worst part is when they were going to the goddamn cave.
Which cave?
When they were in there in the cave and all the stuff, and they were the crystal wolves were in there.
Oh, that was at the end.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for the first 2 hours,
Yeah.
they were chasing them. So it started, and then it was like, oh, we got to get away, and they got away. But then it was like, we can't jump because we don't have enough gas. So they slowly chased them, and I was like, this is bullshit.
I know.
Then it was 2 hours and a half.
Yeah.
Then they was on the island with Luke Skywalker. Luke was an asshole. He was just an asshole for no reason, though.
And he didn't even help her.
Yeah, he really didn't. But he helped her.
I just rather the black force just bomb them and call it a day.
So just bomb the island and said, well, you got fucked. You know what I mean?
It's over.
And then it was like weird shit in there. Like we said during our last one. He's drinking milk from some funny looking creatures that
I know. Why would you put that shit in there?
Why did you put that in there? And they was going up and down the mountain and repeating things, and you gotta help me, and it was just dumb. So it was so disappointing. It was a bad movie. It was one of the worst. So when I'm saying one of the worst and disappointing, that one I can say one of the worst and disappointing. Mm-hmm. So if I had worse and disappointing, Star Wars, worse, no, what you call it was disappointing. Marshall was disappointing. Justice League was kind of disappointing. Fate and the Furious was the fucking worst. The Mummy was one of the worst. And Lady Bird was just so disappointing. So I really only had about 3 that was worse, but everything else was pretty much disappointing.
So let's go into the honorable mention movies of 2017.
In no order whatsoever.
Doesn't matter.
So which one?
I got Thor on there.
Yep, got that.
It.
Yep, got that.
I got Duncan, which you had on there.
Yeah.
Baby Driver.
No, I didn't put Baby Driver.
I liked it because it was just so cool. The music, I love the music. I love, the drive-in. That's me. Mm-hmm. Okay, then I got John Wick 2.
Oh, I didn't put that down.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I already got that.
And Atomic Blonde.
Oh, okay.
What you got on yours?
So I got Thor, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the Thors, that was the most entertaining.
It was. It was.
So a couple of critics was kind of like, it's supposed to have been serious, but I think they played it too funny. So what, though?
I know. I loved it.
So what?
Yeah,
I mean, if you wanted to be serious, too bad.
I know that's
this one wasn't as serious. Fucking too bad. So I loved it. Went from there. Logan Lucky.
Yes, I seen that one. I was thinking about that.
So I really liked that. That was such a clever heist movie that you didn't see it coming into these country rednecks in the out in the backwoods of West Virginia, I believe. Wind River.
Oh yeah, that was good.
The one with the
On
Eskimos
ice.
and
Yeah.
Indians and everything like that.
Yeah, that was
I thought
good.
that was such a good movie.
Yes, that's true. That was
So
good.
I would have had it in my top 10, but since we was only doing 5, that one dropped from that. And then this one would have been in my top 10 too. Ghost Story. A Ghost Story.
Oh yeah. Now,
Amazing.
that was good. Now you know you're right. That was good because when you said the name, I could see the whole movie all over again.
Yeah, it was such a good.
Yeah, it was.
And the way it was done, you really have to be patient.
Yeah.
You have to be patient with this.
You know what? That's a surprise they didn't get nominated.
You know, the critics kept saying, talked about it highly, but I'm not sure why. It probably down the line. Here's the other one, Mudbound.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think the way they did that movie was really done really well. People should see that. That's why I said honorable mention. You should see. That's a good movie.
okay.
You missed this one.
Which one?
Girls Trip.
No, I didn't.
Really? Mm-hmm. You didn't think that was worthy? Let me explain why. Besides Wonder Woman, what was the standout?
The next standout
Girls.
movie, it was Girls Trip, and there was a lot of and let me tell you,
And it was a lot of them.
There was a lot of girl movies out there, and you're right, and
It was a lot of them.
and especially comedies.
Yeah, it was a lot
and
of
that
them.
one tops them all. And you're right.
And there was
about
a
that.
lot of them I didn't want to see, but this one I was kind of, we was kind of going, hey, let's go see this. And I wasn't disappointed. So I really wanted to show the respect to this movie because it was worthy of saying this was a pretty good movie for the year.
You're right.
So that's why I put that.
So I thought about it, and I mean, well, we have a short list, so I'm just gonna add it to the short list. And
So I love movies. And sometimes when you try to break them down to which one you like better than the other one, it's pretty hard. And we see a lot of movies, baby. We do see a lot of movies. Our good thing is we see a lot of movies that we want to see that happens to be good. We don't just arbitrarily just see any movie. Because there's some movies that people say are terrible that we wouldn't even bother go seeing.
Yeah,
like the
that's true.
Transformers. We ain't fucking going to see that shit.
oh, I would never go see that. The grandbabies would love to see it, but we'll watch that on
like
when it comes to
Life.
HBO.
Life, we saw that, but I didn't think it was even worthwhile talking about. Remember the one with they found that life on the planet and then it just took over the fucking ship and that guy was putting his finger in there. They was like, oh, don't do that. And then it was in that room and then it got out of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just fucking
So
crazy.
it's something that I would never. I'll forget that one.
Yeah. So the next one was It because, again, I just thought that was an amazing movie.
That's again another scary movie I don't like to watch, but that shit was good.
Yeah, it was a very good movie.
That was a good scary movie.
And then War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I thought that was very good.
Yeah.
I like the whole series. This topped the series off. Though.
Yeah.
So when the first two came out,
I did see that,
enjoyed
and
it.
like I said, there was just mention. I didn't want to put too
Keep
much.
adding. I know.
Yeah.
Because I could have put a lot more in there, but I was slowing down. I was kind of like,
There was a lot of work, but I was like,
too
no,
much on here.
don't get carried away. Just do the ones that you think is your top. So
then like yours is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Fantastic visual movie, funny. They brought in new characters. That was pretty cool right there.
it was
I
just
love what
so
they did.
bright and beautiful, and I mean, it was just amazing how they just bring out them colors.
Yeah, it was worthy. It was worthy to say this. If you love the first one, you have no idea what you're going to get from the next one, and that's how good this one was. And then something that a lot of critics really liked, and I haven't seen it in a while. I need to see it again, but it was Logan from the Wolverine movie.
Really?
Yeah, I fucking love that. And the reason why I loved it is because it's different than most of the other superhero movies. Because it was almost like a regular movie. It wasn't like a superhero movie. It was made like it was made like
what? But the problem was it came out earlier in the year.
Yeah, but it didn't.
And then I had to remember. Now that you mention it, I had to remember what really happened in it.
Yeah.
So that one was very good too.
That was a very good movie. And
finding out it was his child, but really was.
But
a
it was
clone.
his DNA. They had a like part of his DNA and went from there.
Right.
Then the last one is Wonder Woman. You got to give Wonder Woman the respect that it deserves. And to me, when you say honorable mentions, they can flip in and out of your best at any given period. So if you say, look, I need 10, I could pull from any of these.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Yeah.
And then say, yep, this would be number 6. This one would be 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, but my most disappointing and my honorable mentions, and if you notice, Alicia and I really came close with our top 5, but just in different orders.
Yep, sure did.
Just in different order. I think the only difference was Dunkirk and Blade Runner.
And
you had
Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
was my
no,
top.
and you had Guardians of the Galaxy and what else?
Big Sick.
And Big Sick. Yep. Yeah, I enjoyed Big Sick, but I didn't think it was anything that much. Now, if we would have saw I, Tonya earlier, I think it would have been a little higher on my list.
I think Tanya would have been on our list. It wouldn't be higher. It would have been on the list.
Yeah, it would have been on the list. Yeah, I would have been like, this is pretty amazing for people to see and talk about. But yeah, but so that's what we have for the year 2017. Your movies in review. So take the time out, check that out, and you'll look forward to seeing our top TV shows. Because why is this one best? Because this, I think, TV shows were better than the movies that was released. So the type of TV shows that was out this year, I think, outdid most of the movies for this year. And think about this. You have multiple episodes as opposed to one movie and you're done. And there was some amazing shows that came out for this year. So look forward for this one. We will bring these out in the middle of the week outside of our regular routine Wednesdays because we want to get this out before the Oscars. So when you say, let's see which ones the day line them up, I bet you at least at a minimum we'll have 3, maybe 4 of our picks that's going to be Oscar nominated. And not because everybody like it, because we generally like these movies and said these movies were well done. So, anything, baby? So, thank you very much for stopping by Urban Lifestyle Cafe. Say that one slowly. Urban Lifestyle Cafe. And see us every Wednesday on bougieblackbrother.com. Urban Lifestyle Cafe on Twitter. So if you go in there, you'll find us on Twitter as well. Or you can get us on Bougie Black Bro or find BLK Woman on Twitter and Instagram. I appreciate all those on Instagram who started following our movie reviews and getting excited, and we having our conversation. Keep the conversations going. I really love to have those comments on Instagram about those, but we'll keep that up as well. And thank you so much, and see us next week on Urban Lifestyle Cafe. See ya.